The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still, ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed African Fighting Podcast, champion of the world. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is your One Fight Night 36 preview show. It takes place this Saturday morning at 3 a.m. South African time from the legendary Lupini Stadium in Bangkok, Thailand. Speaking of legends, ladies and gentlemen, I have with me today the reigning defending undisputed big champion of the world. He's our chief analyst, and he's, of course, Brother Gaia.
What's up? I had no idea I was able to attain legendary status.
It happens, bro, especially when you're 85%. One Friday Fights picks. Just a reminder to keep a lookout for that live stream and that preview dropping later this week, ladies and gentlemen. But this is One Fight Night 36 BG. As always, we'll start
at the top of the card. Let's go.
At the top of the card, we have the strawweight kickboxing championship on the line to be unified here. We have Prajanchai, the 30-year-old, is 7-1-0 in one championship. He's got 2 wins by KO, 1 by TKO, and he's on a 6-fight win streak. Last time out, he beat Ellis Badir Barboza by 4th round TKO. Coming up against Jonathan DeBella, who is holding the interim strawweight kickboxing championship. He's 4-1-0 on a 2-fight streak. Last time out, beating the Sam A by unanimous decision at 1-1-7-2. His only loss coming to Prajanchai. So BG, here we are. And just a reminder, if you haven't yet done so, check out our interview with JDB. Explosive stuff. But speaking of explosive, BG, give us your thoughts on this one, bro.
Yeah, it was a very cool interview. Dude, the fight is here finally. I remember both of us were like screaming for this fight to take place in the year. We saw the Alif and Prajanchai first. We were like, no, what mess up is this? You know what I mean? Is he ducking JDB? But the fight was always signed, and here we are. We have the fight, and I'm trying my best not to be biased there, bro, to be honest with you. But the incredible fight we have in Iron Station. This is going to unify the title. And instead of giving my pick, I thought what I should do is give you my thoughts on what are the key factors for the fighters and what I think they could do to each other to basically win the fight, put it in their favor. And I'll start with Prajanchai. I'll start with the champ, right? He's obviously elite of the elite. The man's got over 400 odd fights. It still blows my mind to know how many fights he's got under his belt and how many of those fights he's consistently won, right? At only 30 years old. But he's doing kickboxing here, and I think it's going to slightly favor JDB just because JDB, this is his discipline. Now, I know Prajanchai, he's the champion, but I do think that he's much deadlier. Like, he's by far a deadlier fighter when he's fighting in Muay Thai. What could be his keys to victory in this fight? He would have to do what he did in the later rounds in the fight early on already. He can't be taking pictures the way he did in that first fight to kind of manage his stamina. Because if he does it, I think JDB is going to chew him up quite early. So he's going to have to basically be defensively sound and also kind of throw JDB off by taking the fight to him. Do something very different to what he didn't do in the first fight. Don't give up those first 3 rounds. Or the first 2 rounds, depending on how you look at it. Be the aggressor. Of those 3 rounds, take 2 of them. Take 2 of those first 3 rounds to show JDB that it's not going to be as easy as it was. Be backed up the way he did in the first fight. Throw the knees out early. Switch the stances a lot. I would say maybe start the fight in southpaw. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Even if he goes to orthodox, it's still he was fighting orthodox in the first fight, and JDB was still able to chew up his leg regardless. So very interesting. But I think what he did really well is that switch stancing. Do that a lot in the beginning of the fight. Use the stepping knees, and then like he was talking about going boxing with JDB. Let's see it. I think the key factor for me is I don't think the fight's gonna end early. I think it's going to go 5 rounds, to be honest with you. I don't think either of these guys can knock each other out. If there's a key way to knock each other out, I would say Prajanchai with the knees, stepping knees, because that was the key thing that actually slowed down JDB and almost to the point was hurting him. You could see JDB couldn't really sit down as way he wanted to, because of those knees to the body. It was really taking an effect on him. So throw out more tips. So he can't use his elbows. So that's why I'm like saying it's going to favor JDB a little bit more. For JDB, he must do what he did in the first fight. He basically cruised those first 3 rounds. While the third round was the swing round. He kind of like relaxed that third round and allowed Prajanchai to get back into the fight by switching his stances a lot. Basically playing a very counter-heavy game. Every time JDB would come in, he would counter with something massive. And that kind of like won the crowd over, in my opinion, to put in his favor. But JDB must just do what he did in the first fight. He's faster, he's got better boxing. Right? He must use that speed the way he fought against Sam A. And the one thing he did to Sam A was he basically annihilated the leg by calf kicking him the whole time. Sam A couldn't really do anything. All Sam A could resort to was a switch body kick or the left body kick. That's all he could do because nothing else he could have done. When he stepped forward, the leg was cooked. Especially because they were fighting southpaw with southpaw. So with Prajanchai, same thing here. Southpaw, attack the front leg, switches back to orthodox, he start tips, attack the inside low kick, and then keep using that speed in the boxing. I think he's gonna win the fight decision this time. Again, I don't know if we're gonna get the finish. If there is a finish, I can maybe see JDB getting it by maybe attacking the body a lot with the maybe tips, or maybe the low kick finish. But Prajanchai is such a high level fighter. You just don't see it happening. The last guy to beat him was Joseph Lasiri, and people argued that was kind of like a, it was also Muay Thai. So, yeah, that was that. Since then, Prajanchai has gone on a 6-fight win streak. So it's like you don't really see him in trouble ever. You know what I mean? But JDB will be able to beat him through the course of just outstriking him for 5 rounds, basically. Keep his wits about him. He's got better stamina. And obviously, look to know like that Prajanchai will definitely start to put the volume on in the later rounds. But yeah, it's just too toss up for me, man. It's too even to really pick a winner. But I'm gonna go JDB. I think there's more avenues for him to win in totality over kickboxing. I think he's got more avenues to win the fight. Just because Prajanchai's got less weapons to use.
Yeah, nicely done, BG. I know you said you were gonna hold off on a pick, but I see you eventually came through with one. So give thanks there, PG, going with JDB. And I have to agree, ladies and gentlemen. Having spoken to the man himself, he's locked in, bro. You could see it. He's absolutely locked in. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he has the tools to do it, bro. Granted, we haven't spoken to Prajanchai, and we haven't really seen much of him in the media, but just based on what we've seen from JDB, bro, I'm gonna have to go with him for this one. PG.
Sorry, I just to add to why I'd say JDB, right? He's primarily like you got boxing, kickboxing. It's what do you have? It's boxing. It's kicks, right? Sometimes you can knee, but you can't clinch knee, right? That's it. You can't elbow. You can't clinch. So then we have to ask ourselves, okay, so who has the better fundamentals with those weapons, and particularly in this rule set? You have to go with JDB. If we look at what Prajanchai, the one thing I would like for JDB to do differently in this fight is Prajanchai resorts to a very counter-striking heavy game. Primarily in all his fights, you'll watch it. He's not really leading the dance. He leads the dance by being perfect at countering you. And what he does is his go-to counters is obviously overhands. You will look to see him cut angles and throw body kicks. So in the first fight, whenever JDB, which is happening in the rounds 4 and 5, JDB wanted to enter and get back into that dominance of leading the dance. Prajanchai will just step off, body kick, jump in, body kick, and it will stop JDB every time. So what JDB for me has to do is to be very careful about that, and maybe even bring it out, because then what will happen is it will force Prajanchai to react with the body kick. Basically, you slip it, he lands. Now the calf is there, open for you. Smash the calf kick with your left leg, because that's his dominant leg. Smash the calf kick again. Basically, instead of forcing the narrative, by forcing the situations, you can also do that by feinting a lot and bringing out Prajanchai, because he's a counter-heavy striker. And when he goes forward, maybe that will work in JDB's favor. If he actually says, okay, come Prajanchai, let's see what you actually got. You want to box? Now you come forward and show me what you got. Let me counter you. Because we all know JDB is so fast. You can get Prajanchai with 5 shots without even getting touched. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is there's not a lot of weapons that Prajanchai will give to him in this rule set that he needs to look out for. You know, if there's Muay Thai, different situation. That's a completely different situation. But in this rule set, there's not that much that Prajanchai resorts to. You know what I mean? And JDB said it himself. He doesn't have that much power. He got cracked by Prajanchai a few times, and he was like, it didn't even rock him. So, yeah, I'm gonna go JDB, bro. I think there's more to it.
Let us know in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. It might be a bit difficult for us to be completely unbiased here, all things considered. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments on this fantastic main event. In the words of JDB himself, it's going to be a war. So be sure to tune in, ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday, 3 a.m. South African time. We're going to go to some middleweight MMA PG. And this is Aung La N Sang, the Burmese Python. We know it's going to be a good one when we have a Burmese fighter on the card, right? The Burmese people always show out for their fighters. So yeah, the 40-year-old Burmese Python, the former light heavyweight and middleweight MMA champion. His record in one championship is 14-5-0. 3 wins by KO, 5 wins by TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's on a 2-fight slide. Last time out, losing to Shamil Erdogan by KO. He's coming up against Zebaztian Kadestam, who is 35 years old, former welterweight MMA champion, record in one championship, 7-4-0, 5 by KO, 2 by TKO, on a 3-fight streak. Last time out, beating Roberto Soldic by second round KO. So contrasting fortunes here, bro. Aung La N Sang seemingly on his way out here, bro. Do you think he has another fight in him here? How do you think this one's gonna play out, bro?
I saw online that this is gonna be his last fight. I saw it on the One Championship X page, and I saw it on JDB status as well. But that was the same thing that was said the last time Aung La N Sang fought. He said the same thing, but now he's here. So, okay, we have another fight. I don't know why I thought that I've seen these two guys fight each other before, but they haven't, and that's fine. I think it's still going to be a very good fight between the two guys. We have to understand that Zebaztian Kadestam is going up in weight here to make this fight. It's not his general weight size, but he's a big dude, and he's younger. He's got very good striking. He's a very competent grappler, competent grappler as well. And I think by being the younger athlete, not by much, but there's a 5-year gap. But I mean, that's a big difference when you think about how Aung La N Sang has looked in his last couple of fights. Now I know it's against Shamil, who is kind of on the up at the moment, much younger, looking at a title run, moving up to heavyweight to go and look for a title shot there. Kind of tells you that, okay, I will give him a pass for that fight, right? Also, okay, cool, you lost to basically a fighter that's basically looking to trample everybody in his path at this moment in time, and you were just unfortunately that guy at that time. Now in this fight, do I want Aung La N Sang to win? Yes, I think he's gonna get it. I'm very doubtful of it. Now, can he? He's you read out his stats, right? You saw the amount of KOs. I've watched the amount of KOs he's done. I've seen his submission games as well. I've watched his fights prior to the ones where he was losing to Shamil Erdogan. You know, I've watched those performances. Excuse me, I even watched when he fought against RDR. And Aung La N Sang's not a bad dude. He's got a very well-rounded MMA game. There's no secret as to why MMA gyms in the UFC know Aung La N Sang and they respect the man's game, because he's high level, bro. He's high level. I just don't know if he still has that high level body. You know what I'm trying to say? He may have the skill sets, he may have the mindset to be able to try and do the skill sets, but is his body going to allow him to do it? I'm not so sure. Now, do I think Zebaztian Kadestam is at the nature of what Shamil Erdogan is, where he can knock out Aung La N Sang basically in 10 seconds? Because that's what happened in that last fight. You know, Erdogan was able to knock him out by clicking his fingers. I don't know if that's going to be the same case here, considering that Kadestam is the guy coming up in weight. But I think that the stamina, the youthfulness, and the style of Kadestam, which is it's twitchy and it's in your face and there's no back foot and it's from striking to takedowns. It's almost like a combat sambo, if you will, but not completely combat sambo. that's the kind of style that can drain Aung La N Sang. You know what I mean? So I got Kadestam winning this fight. If not first or second round finish, I see him winning the fight over 3 rounds with like dominant fashion, like winning every single round. I don't know if Aung La N Sang has got another KO in him or another sub in him. I just don't see it at this point.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Aung La N Sang. So yeah, you said this might be his last fight, so let's just try to enjoy him while he's still here. And once again,
Yeah.
shout out to the Burmese people. We know you guys are gonna show up in the live stream. Be sure to drop those Myanmar flags in the chat. Like the video, subscribe to Fighting with Friends. PG, any final thoughts on this one?
Nah, not really. It's a retirement fight, so I don't have much to say about retirement fights unless it's like a BMF fight, you know.
BFF.
BMF fight, yeah.
Anyway, but speaking of BMFs, we have a massive fight here in the flyweight Muay Thai division. We
Let's
have
go.
Kongthoranee coming up against Alamjon Ortikov. Kongthoranee's record in one championship is 11-3-0. He's got 3 by KO. Last time out, he did lose to Nongo by unanimous decision, but he was on a 3-fight win streak before that. Alamjon Ortikov, his opponent, is 22 years old, record in one championship. He is perfect at 8-0, 3 by KO, 1 by TKO. Last time out, beating Pet Sukhumvit by third round KO. So BG, this one is going to be an absolute firecracker. This is one of the fights that I think a lot of the fan base are looking forward to as one of the highlights or potential highlights of this card, bruh. So give us your thoughts. How's this one going to play out, bruh? Give us the who and why.
Yeah, big matchup here. It's a big step up for Alamjon Ortikov, but I mean, there couldn't be anyone else that's more deserving of fighting in the top 5 contender, right? I mean, outside of the top 5 guys, and there's a lot of flyweight Muay Thai fights on this fight card, which also, you know, will determine some of the movement on that top 5 of the division. But this is two of my top guys, you know, like amongst all the other guys that I really rate as elite strikers in the division, or not elite, but you know, if I must do a tier list, that's just outside of the elite, and that's obviously Kongthoranee. And Ortikov for me is climbing that ladder. I just don't think he's there yet, even though he's undefeated, 22 years old. He's got a brilliant fight style. I mean, we can see the man's footwork. He's almost second to none. He dances around opponents. He's got all this antiques. Gets the crowd hype. Fun character to support. I think he's going to be a phenomenal, marketable fighter for one championship. If they're smart, they could use this guy to really, like, you know, bring in an international crowd along with like Muay and those young fighters from the region, from Uzbekistan. However, Kongthoranee is a massive step in opponents for Alamjon Ortikov. Because I'm looking at Alamjon's record, right? Although he has beaten really good fighters, none of these fighters that he's beaten, in my opinion, would give Kongthoranee a lot of trouble. Especially not right now. You know, Pet Sukhumvit, not contracted, fights a lot of Friday fights. It's good knockouts, but never really cracking top 10. He beat Deduan Lek. Deduan Lek's a good fighter. Very, very good tactician, but basically couldn't really lay a glove on him. And I think Kongthoranee would also put the same kind of troubles. Might even KO Deduan Lek. He beat Pompet by unanimous decision. I don't think Pompet could touch Kongthoranee. Right? There's Wacharapun, there's Chatan, all these guys, but they are all outside of the top 10. You know what I'm saying? So then you put him up against someone like Kongthoranee. It's a massive step up. Kongthoranee, on the other hand, smashing people. Basically, the smaller left meteorite in the flyweight division has fought much high-level opponents. He beat Jaosuayai, who's also on this fight card, by the way. Zakirov at the time was ranked number 5. Kongthoranee beat him, which is how he got into the top 5. Takes out Nakra, takes out Nong O. Fought Nong O twice, who is massive champion, right? 8-time champion. Fought against Taiki Naito, beat Taiki Naito, beat Nsang. He's basically wiped out guys who were high level. So that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as I'm a big fan of Alamjon Ortikov, I would fully support him when he's about 25, 26. You know, like when he's a little bit older and he's now a mainstay in the top 5. He doesn't drop out of the top 5. And I'll be like, this is what I said when I first watched him fight, that he was going to be at that level. I just think that the Kongthoranee fight, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping I could be proven wrong here. But I just feel like this is a bit too much of a big jump for Ortikov in his career right now. It'll be for me. This is how I see it's gonna happen for him. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna have a very good performance, but he's not gonna win the fight, and it's gonna level him up. It's gonna level him up later. So you can, based on that, that's my pick. I'm telling you now, Kongthoranee is gonna beat him. It's gonna be via decision. I don't think Kongthoranee is gonna KO him, even though I think he can. Ortikov is very slick and he has good footwork and he really gets touched. Kongthoranee is also a superb counter striker. A lot of power in his left kicks as well as his boxing as well. And he's primarily been doing boxing in his camps of late to obviously get there. This is Muay Thai. Kongthoranee's got good elbows as well. But I just think that because Kongthoranee is a very good counter striker in the sense that when you watch a lot of his fights, apart from going forward, you will notice that he also has a good in-game adjustment by he can just stand there. And he can just he'll let you come to him. And a fighter like Ortikov, who's gonna be jumping everywhere, that's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see that pattern. You're gonna see one guy standing, you're seeing the other guy doing this, and the one guy's just gonna follow him like that. And then whenever Ortikov comes in to now land a 2-3 piece on him, he's gonna run into an elbow or a hard body kick or a tip or a counter left straight. And that's gonna be the pattern of the fight, and it's gonna be the speed and the volume versus the accuracy and precision of a one punch that has a lot of power. Because the power punch is going to be more devastating, Kongthoranee is going to win the fight on damaging shots, possibly even get a knockdown. And that's why I say it's going to be the fight that will level Ortikov up. I don't think this does much for Kongthoranee if he wins this fight. It's like you beat a very top prospect, but it doesn't really make him go any further up the division. It just solidifies his position in the top 5 already. So I say that's how I think the fight's going to play out. Kongthoranee is going to beat him on decision by landing heavier shots than Ortikov.
Kongthoranee on the parlay, BG.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Definitely. I don't bet against him. I mean, the only time I bet against Kongthoranee is when he fought Nongo for the second time. And when he fought Superlek as well. I was like, I think he's going to lose these 2 fights. But the first fight when he fought Nongo, I was like, he beats Nongo there. And he did.
That's why BG is the chief analyst at Fighting with Friends, ladies and gentlemen. We have the return of the monkey god. It's Jared Brooks coming up against Mansur Malachiev. The monkey god is 32 years old, the former strawweight champion, and his record in one championship is 5-4-0. 3 wins by sub. He's on a 2-fight slide. Last time out, losing to Joshua Pashial by second round TKO. Mansur Malachiev is 33 years old. His record in one championship is 3-1-0. He's got 1 win by sub. 2-fight win streak. Last time out, beating our local boy, future champion Bokang Masuniane. BG, what are your thoughts here, bro?
Again, big fight for the division. The winner here pretty much sets himself up for a fight against Joshua Pashial with that strawweight title. Can I just quickly say before I give this is a big card, guys. There's a number of former champions on this fight card and current champions. So I think you should tune in. This is big because it's high-level fighters here. But yeah, coming back to it, massive fight for Mansur Malachiev. Obviously on a streak at the moment, beating Bokang kind of put him in the position right where he can call out to Jared Brooks or Joshua Pashial. And I'm quite stoked for the fight. Is he going to beat Jared Brooks? I don't know. And I think what I'm most intrigued for this fight is we're going to see basically Dagestani Russian wrestling, because that's what Mansur brings. A little bit of striking as well. Not too bad striker at the same time, but primarily he's a wrestler, right? And he's taking on Jared Brooks, who is all-American wrestling, aggressive. You watch his fights, the dude is like he's on cocaine. He's like, he comes in there and he's just constantly powering up all the time. He has no chill. And sometimes that's to his detriment, right? Because I mean, you saw the fight against Joshua Pashial, and I'm not too sure if it was because something was wrong with Jared Brooks, but he was so powered up in that first round that he didn't have anything for the second round, and that's not usually how he performs. He can go 3 rounds, right? Now I know he's on a 2-fight slide at the moment, losing to Rhys McManamon and Joshua Pashial, but Rhys McManamon was a weight above. He went up in weight because he wanted to stay active, and then he was always going to lose that fight. Do I think he's going to win this fight? I'm not sure. I want him to. I just don't know if he still has it in his tank, because Mansur Mansur is clever and he's sharp. And we saw when he fought against Bokang that Bokang was staying in there with him. Round 1, round 2, round 3, Bokang wasn't going away, putting pressure on him, forcing him to wrestle, forcing him to strike. The fight was so close. We all thought Bokang won that fight. You know what I mean? But what the big takeaway for me in that fight was that Mansur didn't go away. He didn't show signs of exhaustion. He was reversing some of Bokang's weaponry in terms of the takedowns. So he showed me that now he can hang. He can really hang because Bokang is high level, guys. He's top ranked. He's ranked number 3, I think, in the division. So you have to give respect to Mansur to be able to get through Bokang. I know Jared Brooks also got through him, but that's fine. That was also a decision win. Let me just remind myself. Yeah, no, he submitted him first round. There we go. I remember they fought. But that wasn't Jared Brooks was. That was when Jared Brooks was in Mansur's position right now. When Jared Brooks was climbing to get that title, you know what I mean? Mansur's on that same mission, and you and I both know that. I think everyone knows when a fighter is on a mission to climb for the title, they almost walk around with this order of like I'm impenetrable. I'm like no one's gonna beat me until I get that title, and when I get that title, I'm gonna be even better. You know what I mean? I think that might tip it in my mind to Mansur's favor, but I'm gonna give him a very slight favorite, just because Jared Brooks' back is against the wall. He's on a 2-fight slide. Let's be honest, he had a very bad performance against Joshua Pasha in his last fight. You know what I mean? The mental game wasn't really there. He was in a tough situation in his life, and now he's back. He's up against a top contender. So one would argue that the pressure is on Jared Brooks here, like a lot of pressure, and on Mansur. But I'd say more on Jared Brooks because he can't go on a 3-fight slide now. Because then you enter the category of forgotten champions. Can he do it again? You know what I mean? And that's a big risk for him in his career at this stage. So it's a must win for him. I think for Mansur, I think a loss wouldn't push him back that far. You know what I mean? And that's how I would remove a little bit of the pressure. But the pressure's on. Because a winner with Jared Brooks means Joshua Pasha is next. And I think that's why I'm going to go Mansur for the win.
Let's go, BG. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna give a quick shout to Bokang Masunyane. Get that bout, though. As we transition now to some flyweight MMA on this MMA heavy card. BG. We have Sanzal Zakirov coming up against Yong. Zakirov is 2 years old, 6-0 in one championship, 1 by KO, 2 by TKO. He also beat Bokang Masunyane by unanimous decision in his last fight. Coming up against Yong, who is 29 years old, 8-2-0 in one championship, 1 by KO, 2 by TKO. Last time out, losing to Reese McLaren by split decision. And was on a 3-fight win streak before that. So straight to you on this one, BG. Let's go.
Let's go. So yeah, I think this is Sanzal Zakirov's flyweight MMA debut. Obviously, if everyone's been following his career, he was fighting predominantly strawweight, wiping out people over there constantly. And then, I mean, if you think about the names, there's Yuya Wakamatsu on his hit list. There was, Kongthoranee, Bokang, like you just mentioned now. So yeah, Sanzal Zakirov, top talent, and I think he's gonna be a problem for this flyweight division. And a big win for him here puts him in a category to take on someone like someone higher up the rankings. Who's the current champion? What's his name? Yeah, Yuya Wakamatsu, not Tatsumi Tawada. Sorry, I'm confusing the two. Yuya Wakamatsu. So he can climb the ranks, bro. Especially when the division that like they put Yuya Wakamatsu against what's his name? Joshua Pasha. And it tells you that the division is looking for more challenges, right? The fact that they couldn't find anyone else, and then they let go of Reese McLaren, who's basically would have been next in line, and it kind of tells you that they need someone to challenge someone like Yuya Wakamatsu. Obviously, we have to see what the outcome is there, but I think Sanzal Zakirov is in that category, in my opinion. That a win year puts him in a position to say, listen, give me who's the guy who just lost now? Moraes. Give me Adriano Moraes. You could basically make a call like that. Give me that legend. I beat that legend. I want to take Yuya Wakamatsu out. And he's a top talent, dude. This kid is brilliant at what he does. He's a well-rounded striker. He's very deadly. He's got phenomenal grappling. Bokang was putting it on him in terms of the grappling, and he was able to reverse some of those exchanges. But then when they were standing, Pukang was even going to him there, but he was using very good footwork, stayed out of danger, landing on Pukang with the jabs and the counter rights. Yeah, he's just a very elusive young fighter here, and I think he's gonna beat this fight. I think he's gonna beat what's his name, Yong. Yong fought against Reese McLaren, lost, and he lost that fight. That was 2024 May. Reese is no longer in the organization. Before that, he fought in 2023 against Kongthoranee. That he was in a 3-fight win streak. That was 2023 and 2022. So since the loss against Reese McLaren, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's a powerful striker. He's got good hands on him. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what he does. He's just a very good boxer on the outside. Doesn't really grapple that much. I think he's gonna get beaten here. I think Zakirov's gonna catch him. To be honest with you, and Zakirov. I think he's the taller fighter. He's the faster fighter. He's craftier. I think he's gonna catch Yong here. Probably get the finish in round 1. If not, cruise through the victory by just outclassing him. Maybe even schooling on him and doing some of those no look shit. You know what I mean? And that's probably what we're gonna get here. So I expect Zakirov to get the win here in this fight.
Hyped for it. Hyped for some of those no look punches, bro. I'm gonna be waking up quite early for this one, so hopefully we'll do some flashy stuff for the neutrals here. But a big fight on the card here, BG. Big fight in the flyweight Muay Thai division. It is Jaosuayai coming up against Akif Guluzada. Jaosuayai is 24 years old. His record in one championship is 8-2-0. He's got 6 by KO. He's on a 5-fight win streak. Last time out beating Zakirov in the very first round. Coming up against the 20-year-old Akif Guluzada, who is perfect in one championship at 4-0. He's got 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO. Last time out beating Sean Klimakau by unanimous decision. So BG, high-level technical stuff on the cards here, bro. Jaosuayai, absolutely explosive knockout power. What are you thinking here, bro?
Well, if you want to look at the fight about style points and like possibilities of KOs and just wild exchanges, this is that fight, bro. Now, if this was a fight before Akif fought against Sean Klimakau, I would have said, I think Jaosuayai is up against a top talent here. One of those freakish young fighters that can just, put it on you, because Akif Guluzada is coached by the best. He's coached by Shingiz Alazov. And he's got KOs, bro, spinning back elbows. Again, just fancy footwork like Sanzo Zakirov. Just absolutely fancy stuff. Right? And also precision, deadly. But then he fought against Sean Klimakau. And Sean Klimakau, although I don't rate him as like high-level elite striker, he's got a lot of experience, right? And he was able to come back from the knockdowns in that fight. And guess what? He took it to Akif, bro. Even though Akif won unanimously, you could see after round 1, Akif was tired. Because he was in the first round, what Akif does to you, he's a round 1 specialist. He'll go in there, right? He will throw a lot of force combinations, spinning back kicks, just unload a bunch of thick combinations on you. But if he doesn't get you out, then you will see round 2 and 3. He's going to do that typical. I'm not trying to be controversial here, but it's something I always notice about the Russian region fighters is they don't beat you in round 1. They play a very safe game. I'm saying it like I don't like it. It's actually very smart. It's very, very smart. Because what it does is it allows him not to take any damage. They stay out of danger. But what it does is it makes for boring fights. Like, for example, what Akif will do then is he will stay out of range. He won't initiate anything. He will jab his way through round 2 and round 3. Look for a counter here and there. But he'll know he can't. He's not going to explode on you anymore because he doesn't have the gas tank. So he's going to be safe. Keep dancing, wind out the clock. Maybe get a clinch set to wind down the clock a bit more. Jab, stay out of range. Dodge. Down at the clock again. That's what they do. Mashinane, what's his name? Mansur has the exact same thing. When he fought against Pukang, what did he do in round 2 and round 3? He was on the back foot the whole time. What did he do? He just wanted to clinch, stay up against the ropes, wind out the clock. Pukang reverses him, gets back into the striking positions, and then he goes back into clinch. Just play it safe. As long as I'm grabbing you, you can't hit me. You know what I mean? And in Muay Thai, you can clinch a little bit, but you have to be active. But you also get that 3 to 5, sometimes even 10-second grace where you can just hold this person. You know what I mean? And that's what he did against Klamikau as well. Now he knocked out Wang Luang. I get that. That's fine. He knocked out Samingdam. That's fine. But those are the two kind of fighters that put themselves in the line of fire. So they're always going to get sort of tagged, right? I've watched them fight a lot of times. I've seen them in fights where they get tagged all the time because they pressure fighters. They hunt you down and they want to go fast and they want to stay on you the whole time. And Akif, such a very good counter striker and so elusive and so creative. He'll catch you. He will catch you in moments like with the spinning back elbow, right? But Sean Klamikau showed the experience in there, and he was like, if you don't bite on this kid's feints, you pressure him the whole time, and you land your jabs on him, he's gonna get a little bit troubled, and he's gonna get a little bit what's the word overwhelmed in those exchanges because Klamikau was able to walk him down the whole time. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Jaosuayai is high level for a reason. He's a little bit older as well. He's on a massive streak. I mean, he beat Dennis Puric, knocked him out. He knocked out Yodlek Peck. He beat Surya Nick. He also KO'd Peng Luang, and he beat KO'd Nakarov. So he's pretty much on that streak of, I know what it's like to knock out power. I know how to knock people out. What I will say, though, he mustn't get hasty to get that KO. You know what I'm saying? Because he's fighting a fighter that's taller than him, uses the range really well, and very crafty in that first round. So I think Joshua is going to have to be very patient here in this fight and basically create that KO moment. You know what I mean? Don't just go there and get it. He needs to make it. He needs to create it. He needs to, in my opinion, he's going to have to probably, not because of his design, but he's going to have to give up that first round. He's going to have to. He's going to have to maybe survive because Akif's going to come at him hard, fast. He's going to probably have to play very counter heavy, but survive it. But counter heavy, maybe attack the legs a lot. But then round 2 and round 3, go and get your dinner. Go and get your fucking dinner. Because then he's going to be there for the taking. So I think Jaosuayai can win this fight if he survives that first round. So I'm going to go Jaosuayai. But I say it really lightly though, because Akif is super dangerous. I've seen how dangerous he can be because of how, it's like that what we've seen in MMA of late, where people are throwing spinning back elbows when they're getting pressured. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of things Akif does. He will spin on you in moments when you're pressurizing him, when you really looking for a kill shot. That's when he's actually very deadly. It's when he spins, or when he settles for a counter shot. That's when you can look for Akif to take you out. But I'm still gonna go Jaosuayai. I really do, and I think there's beef between the two guys. I'm not sure if you saw on X. That's who I posted. Jaosuayai's got beef with Akif, bro. You were saying, yo, I think this kid's very cocky. He's super cocky, and I think I'm gonna go in there and take him out to teach him a lesson. So let's hope if he gets that right. Let's hope Jaosuayai gets it right. Because if he does, they'll take him on to 6-fight win streak. And he puts himself into that argument to be like, yeah, give me Kongthoranee. Give me the winner between Kongthoranee and Alamjon Ortikov. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's what he can do.
Yeah, no. 100%, bro. Big implications in this one, ladies and gentlemen. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you could even tell us which round you think this one is going to end. That would be a very interesting one to hear. All right, then. I doubt it. I don't think so. But let us know in the comments. We'll go to some featherweight submission grappling now.
Do we have to? I know it's in the notes. But do we have to?
I mean, we don't have to, bro. But,
do you want to watch that?
Do you want to watch that? Yeah, we can pause on this one.
All right. The opening bout on the card. Sorry, no, not the opening bout. We have atomweight Muay Thai, Marie McMahon. She is coming up against. Sorry, excuse me, McManamon. Coming up against Selena Flores. McManamon is 35 years old. She's 0-1, one championship, losing to the champ, Alicia Rodriguez, by 4th round TKO in the last fight. Selena Flores is making her one debut as the former WBC world champion. So that's about as extensive as my notes are for this one, BG. Take it away.
Yeah, I was looking. I spent a lot of time trying to find more information on Selena. I'm seeing images of her holding multiple titles. I saw the WBC championship. I forgot which region it was. But yeah, she's obviously, held some belts. But I think Marie also held some belts coming out of the UK region as well. So kind of equal footing here. Who I think is going to win? I don't know. It's a toss-up for me because when I watched Marie McManamon fight against Rodriguez, That fight went into the later rounds, but I always thought that she was gonna get beaten up by Rodriguez. Rodriguez is one of those fighters that I just don't see her losing. You know what I mean? She's just too good. But I want to highlight some of the stuff that McManamon was doing good in the early rounds. Because Rodriguez takes a lot of time, she kind of gives up the early rounds to, dominate you in the later rounds, and she's so durable and she becomes on stronger. It allowed Marie to kind of deploy some of her strategy, right? And what she did really well was she utilized one of her advantages, which is reach and height. That she popped out that jab and the deep kicks and the high kicks, and she kept Rodriguez occupied in the first 2 rounds by being defensive, making Rodriguez defend all those shots. So she fights really well on the outside by utilizing that space. Now I haven't seen Selena Flores fight before, right? But you don't get 3 belts, just for, lucky packet. You know what I mean? You have to obviously go into and win tournaments and dominate divisions. And apparently there's some good hype around her as well. And she looks like she's got the stuff, So what we have here is a experienced fighter, Marie, taking on a young, vibrant champion, Selena Flores, and this is her debut. So I'm expecting Selena Flores to win, but I'm also foreseeing this fight being as one of those fights where if Flores doesn't do very well, it's the fight where the narrative's going to be she got taught lessons by someone that's more experienced, that has tasted what she tasted, what she has right now, has been there, has done that. You know what I'm trying to say? That could be that. This could be that kind of fight. It's either Selena arrives and is like, I am here, champion is right here, and I've arrived, or it's like the lights are big. It's a global stage. It's not WBC. It's one championship now, and it's a big global stage, and there's a lot of eyes on you now, not just within your region. You know what I mean? And you could freeze up and get schooled by experience of McManamon here. So I said going one of those 2 ways. And even though PG don't bet on debut fighters, so I'm not giving a pick. So I'm thinking it's going to be one of those. I think that's going to be the narratives of the fight. Those 2 possibilities. Either she arrives and you're like, oh shit, this new champ. That's the problem. It's going to be a you can go like, oh shit, someone new for the atomweight division, or it could be lessons are going to be learned here, be taught, should I say?
We shall find out. We're gonna find out Saturday night. Everybody. But we're gonna go to the opening bout of the card now. This is, of course, Shozo Isojima, who is coming up against Nicholas Vigner. We'll go to some numbers very quickly. We'll see that Isojima is 28 years old. One debut is 5-0. He was scheduled to fight Adrian Lee at 172. But that didn't, of course, happen. Coming up against Nicholas Vigner, who's 35 years old. Record in one championship is 0-2. Last time out, he lost to a guy named Zabir Zabrailov by first round TKO. PG. Take us home here, bro.
This is a layup. This is one of those fights where it's going to introduce Shozo. The fact that he was supposed to fight against Adrian Lee at 172 kind of highlights who this dude is. Now, I haven't seen him fight. I see he's got a 5-0 record. I see he's got a good couple of decision wins and 1 TKO win in his name as well. And the fact that he was going to be put on a Japanese fight card kind of highlights that he is obviously someone that is good from that region. Nicholas Vigner, it's like this dude only gets cans. You know what I mean? He had Jabir. He lost against Jabir. Jabir was overweight in that fight. I know he missed weight in hydration in that fight. He fought against Cade Rutola before that and got KO'd in the first round. So he got KO'd in back-to-back first round fights against up-and-coming young guys. Right? Cade's 22 years old. Jabir is 20 years old, 21. Shozo, I think 28 years old. So he's a lot more experienced. He's got more MMA experience than Jabir and Cade. So I just think this is going to be the fight where Vigner is going to look okay in the first round with the height advantage and throw out some of those steeps there and look a little bit good, and then Shozo. And they come in hard, take him down, and probably smash him and get a TKO finish.
Let's go. And that will round out One Fight Night 36 quite nicely for us, BG. So as always, we're going to go to some final thoughts as well as a pre-fight rating for this fantastic card, please, sir.
Okay, some final thoughts. super hyped for some of the fights in the fight card. Obviously, main event JDB Prajanchai. Been waiting for this rematch to happen, and we finally got it. So super hyped for that one. Obviously, Aung La N Sang and Zebaztian Kadestam, two legends going at each other. Kongthoranee, Alamjon Ortikov, David Brooks, his former champions on the card. Jaosuayai, Guluzada, great fights, right? But once we get to Fabricio Andre, like the last three fights on the opening three fights on the fight card, that does lower the score for me in a significant manner. Just because I don't think they need the jiu-jitsu anymore. I think they can stick with MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. Get rid of the jiu-jitsu. You don't need it anymore. Your two best jiu-jitsu guys don't even do the sport anymore. They're in MMA. So that was the one thing I was going to say about the Fabricio Andre and Eduardo fight, was that they are the two next big things for jiu-jitsu in one championship. So that's why we had that fight. We don't need it. Marie McManamon, Cynthia Flores, that's a good fight. I might put it a little bit. Not too stoked about the Vigner Shozo. So for me, I'm going to dock 3 points for those three fights. I'm going to make it a 7 out of 10 fight card. I might push it up by 8 just because it's JDB and Prajanchai guy and Kongthoranee. So that might make you want to say 8. But I'm going to leave it at a 7 because I think that opening 3 bouts in the fight card is a little bit not that desirable.
Yeah, fair comment there, BG. But yeah, if I look at it, it's, like you said, it's JDB versus Prajanchai Kongthoranee. Jaosuayai versus Akif Guluzada, massive fight also. So I think those three, those 3 fights, I would say 3 for the main event and 2 for the other fights I mentioned, and that's gonna take me to a score of 7 as well. So there you go, fair score, 7 out of 10. Let us know your fight ratings in the comment section, please, ladies and gentlemen. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. BG's gonna tell you what's coming next, so you can watch the podcast every day.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Let's go. So yeah, we have still to come for you guys to keep the lookout for. We have UFC 320 that's going to be released on Wednesday, so keep a lookout for that one. That's a massive fight card. And then obviously on Thursday, the usual slot, we will be releasing our preview of the one Friday fights 1 to 7. On top of that, we might also do a nice reaction to the live, to the weigh-in and hydration test for one Fight Night 37. Obviously, that's the big moment for the fight card, because that's the make or break for these fight cards, whether they're gonna go through with it or not, catch weights or not. That's where all this stuff is gonna happen. So we will definitely react to that. And obviously, Friday is a live watch along of Friday Fights 1 to 7, live watch along of Fight Night 37, and then obviously a live that's on Saturday. Then a live watch along of UFC 320 on Sunday morning at 4 a.m. South African time. Maybe even a little bit earlier. Might catch you for some of the prelims. Might. Stay tuned for that one. Hope to see all of you there. On that note, from myself and the rest of the Fighting with Friends team, have a very, very good rest of the week, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Oos.